Wow. We're going to do
Wow,
that
I just
any minute
beamed up.
now. The aliens are coming. You're listening to Big Blend Radio's Champagne Sunday Show with Nancy and Lisa and special guest co-host Marisa Aquina of Portovino, our Portovino wine bags. Everybody go to
Stealth.
porto-vino.com. It's stealth. It's cool.
It's
Our next
James
guest
Bond.
is, I know. James Bond had his martinis, but like he could do a
I know,
martini.
but
He
you
could
could
shake
put
it up
it.
in the bag.
You could do it.
Yeah.
You
You
could do a
could.
martini. You could.
Shake it up. Shake it up, big boy.
Come on.
All right, so our next guest
Hello.
is Chef Ivan Flowers. He's a five-star chef, a culinary instructor, teaches high school students in Temecula, California, in Southern California, and he's joining us to share his oven-roasted barbecue chicken recipe, which looks absolutely delicious.
Yum.
You can check out the recipe on blendradioandtv.com, as well as many more of his recipes. And you can listen to his interviews there. And his recipe will be featured in the next issue of Big Blend Radio and TV magazine. Chef Ivan Flowers, we have missed you. How are you?
How are you, ladies? Good afternoon.
We're
Hey,
great.
good afternoon. We're great. We're late with you on the show. We're sorry. And we're
Got the
here.
pickle?
But we're here. We're having a good time. We got Marisa of Portovino. So we're all like
Hey there.
happy and excited. We've been talking about your chicken all day because it looks
Really?
good. I'm drooling already. Like, seriously. It's going to sound bad through this headset.
She's done that since day one.
No, but it looks good. It looks sticky,
It looks
sweet,
delicious.
and good. It really does. It looks like, yeah, mommy.
Yummy.
Come to mommy.
Yeah.
Eat the barbecue.
Exactly.
It's good for you. You can eat the chicken. It looks like it has the texture as well. It looks really good, Ivan.
Oh, good.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, can you really leave chicken out at room temperature for an hour? I just have that's the first thing I went like, oh.
Oh, of course. Oh, yeah.
Oh, okay.
You should leave most proteins out for an hour before you cook them. You never want a protein to go in ice cold to an oven. Yeah, it makes all the difference in the world for cooking time and also retaining juice. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
That's a good tip.
Oh,
That's good
yeah.
to know.
Okay. So this is the other thing. It's interesting because what about eggs? Like if you could cook an egg, should you take your eggs out for a while before you make an omelet?
Not necessarily, but eggs can sit out for long periods of time. As a matter of fact, when supermarkets buy them by the pallet, sometimes they'll actually keep them in a cool, dark place in the back if they don't have room in the refrigerator, and they're fine.
Huh.
Eggs are pretty versatile that way because of the shells.
Wow.
And it does depend on whether you're buying them straight for the farm or not. Like I remember buying them from a farm and hearing that you could keep those eggs for almost 6 months.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and it depends on that whole process thing. It's weird. Like in chicken now, what should we be looking for when we even buy chicken? Like when we go, you talk about getting a whole chicken and cutting it up instead of buying the pieces. Go and get the whole thing. So what should we be looking for when we get the whole chicken?
I like where it's mostly white. The skin is mostly white versus yellow. Yellow, is good too. It just means probably they're eating a lot of corn. You could tell when a chicken is fresh. It's rosy. You can see the skin is moist. When you take the the liver and the stomach out, the chicken should smell super fresh. If there's any juice coming out, it should be super red. When you look inside the cavity around the rib cage and stuff, you see super red, which means the chicken hasn't been sitting for a long time.
That's interesting.
Wow.
Yeah, I wouldn't know. And then you cook, like, any tips on chopping it all up yourself? Because I would look at a chicken and go, like, there's like I think you teach high school kids, and Marisa, you're a parent. So like when you bring the whole chicken out, do your boys go, ew? Like I don't want to touch this.
You know what? They spend as little time in the kitchen during any of that. I think as soon as I start cooking, they're like usually gone because the last thing they want me to do is ask them to help out at that end of it. They're good at the other end, like cleaning up, but they don't like to cook. But My mom's from my dad's from Italy and grew up on a farm, and my mom's from France, but with Italian, parents, and they always buy the whole chicken and the whole, even rabbits and everything else. So it's amazing. So I'm sure it does taste better, but.
Oh, so Ivan, the whole chicken. So do you bring this to your students to do?
Oh yeah, it's huge lessons. For example, let's say chicken goes on sale for 48 cents a pound, and you buy an entire chicken. It's going to cost you. Let's say you buy 2 of them. It's going to cost you a low amount. It's really easy to fabricate a chicken. As a matter of fact, it's one of the most easiest cuts that you can do. It's it's simple. You're going down the leg, you're popping the joint, you're taking the breasts off. It's really simple. The more you do it, the better you get at it. Amazing on cost. If you're buying boneless, skinless chicken breasts, you can pay $8-9 a pound.
Yeah.
A chicken, once it's cut up and it's put out in its pieces, they make a fortune on that. Now, I like a whole roasted chicken. My wife does a 3 citrus where she stuffs the cavity and we roast it slowly. And, that's one of the juiciest ways to do it. Here, the chicken is cut up into 9 pieces. And by cutting it smaller, it enables you to have the sauce on the chicken where the sauce doesn't burn. It just gets that sticky, sweet, garlicky, smoky barbecue taste.
Yeah.
And the chicken cooks perfectly. If you did it on a whole chicken and then you put the sauce on it in the beginning, the sauce would burn before the chicken got cooked.
Right.
So by doing a 9-piece cut, it enables you to have pieces that are perfectly moist and tender, and then that sticky, sweet, smoky barbecue glaze on the outside.
Would you do this with turkey? Because I'm just saying Thanksgiving's coming up, and I've heard people these different reports of the turkey farmers are freaking out because of COVID, that the huge family gatherings aren't happening. So some are saying, no, they'll still do it and have a lot of leftovers and do things. And then some are saying, oh, they're going to look for smaller cuts, but no one's prepared for it because, they've been raising these turkeys before COVID, So do you think people may actually turn to chicken as an idea? I'm just thinking, or can you use this idea?
With the turkey, certainly you would baste it towards the end with the sauce. You wouldn't put it on in the beginning. You would do a couple of bastes, maybe the last hour or so. But I do believe people might be going to chicken over turkey. I think you're going to see a lot of turkeys in the supermarkets after Thanksgiving, in the frozen section, discounted immensely.
Well, and that's a good time to buy it all up because what's wrong with turkey,
Yes,
right.
absolutely.
Yeah.
You
can. I think you can. Ivan, you tell me. Most recipes, if it says chicken, you could put turkey in.
Sure. Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Really, people freak out when they cook a turkey. It's just like cooking a chicken. It's just the same thing.
It's a big dinosaur chicken.
Okay, wait. Okay, I have another question. So if you get a whole chicken or a whole turkey and you cut it up like you're talking about, right? And then you barbecue it or put the salt, you cook it and everything. But once you've cooked it, can you refreeze it again? Even if it's come from a frozen? So that would be a double freezing.
You can. If it's cooked and stuff, you can throw it in the freezer. But it's not going to, when you go to cook it again, it's going to be a little dry. Once you cook something twice, it's not going to be the same when you cook it once. So, but you could.
So let's talk about the sauce because you're talking about you've got you've cut the chicken, and then you're going to combine all the ingredients, and you have low sodium soy sauce, Worcestershire sauce, granulated garlic, smoked paprika, sugar-free hickory barbecue sauce, half of an orange. I want to talk about that. Some red wine vinegar, sriracha, sugar-free teriyaki, spicy Szechuan pepper sauce. So I'm seeing a lot of sugar-free, low-sodium stuff going on. Does that ruin the flavor by doing that? Or
no, absolutely not. As a matter of fact, that's the whole point of the dish. Even the Szechuan is low sugar, low salt. when you use barbecue sauce,
Sriracha's in there too. Yeah. Sorry.
yes, they're full of sugar and salt.
Yeah. Yep.
Full. If it has way too much sugar, it's going to burn in the oven. So when you use a heavy sugared barbecue sauce, sugar caramelizes quickly, and that causes it to burn. This is so much healthier. I mean, you look into barbecue sauces at 8 to 1,200 milligrams of salt, unbelievable amounts of sugar. You control all of this. The flavor is fabulous because the sauces are given enough time to caramelize with the tomato product in it itself, and the Szechuan, and the sriracha, and the orange juice, which is a natural sugar, to get that glaze, and you're eating much healthier. So much healthier.
That's great.
The orange brings in the natural sugar. That's cool. Sorry, Marisa, what were you saying?
No, I said that's a good tip because I'm always trying to cut down on sugars, and you know, it's true. It's like I almost cook separate for my kids than I do for me because I try to stay away from a lot of that stuff. But they love barbecue sauce and things, and I'll make my own. And it's true. It's so much healthier. But I didn't even know they sold sugar-free barbecue sauce, or that's awesome, or sugar-free teriyaki sauce. That's a really good tip.
And so when you add the orange juice, is that what adds the sugar as a substitute? But it's okay because it's natural.
Yeah, it just works. You're creating a big gas streak. A gas streak is any time you take an acid and something sweet. So you've got the sweetness of some of these things, and then you've got the red wine vinegar, and also the acidity of the orange, or you could do it with lemon. Barbecue sauce is just a big gas streak. Ketchup is a huge gas streak.
Yeah, dude.
Once you use a gas streak and you know how to position salt and sugar and acidity, you can get it exactly where you want it, where it's not too sweet and it's not too tart. It's just perfect. And that's what a gas streak can do.
This is like chemistry class.
Yeah.
Oh, boy. But it's so true. We eat, I teach, after spending, oh my God, literally 40 years in the industry. From the time I was a kid with my dad, I teach and I teach and I teach, and I really push nutrition. We are eating so much more salt and sugar than we should. And the killer of it all, what's getting people really sick is sugar.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's sugar.
It's in everything.
Everything.
Even bread. Everything that you don't think is in it, and it's just it's shocking when you start paying attention. You think if you say I'm not going to eat sugar, and I was kind of given a 10-day, don't eat this, this, or this, and sugar was one of them, and it's insane. There's sugar in this? How is that possible?
I know.
Exactly. We just had a class. We were talking about bread, and I said, guys, French baguettes have no sugar, and they have no fat. Sourdough,
but the yeast has
some
sugar.
of it is. The yeast has sugar?
What?
To me, it tastes like sugar. Like the yeast has a sugary taste to me. It's sweet. Does that make sense? I don't know.
No, she's just drinking beer.
Eat sourdough and eat French baguettes.
I love sourdough. Well, but okay. Okay, there's a difference, but
it has no fat or sugar.
It turns to sugar.
Okay. So sourdough.
Tracy knows what I'm talking about. Yeah. There's sourdough. Yeah, everything's different. It's about how long you leave it. How long you
read
leave
the labels. Read the It's like we read everything. It's like you give kids a King's Hawaiian bread, and it's delicious, right? Sugar's a natural tenderizer, but it's like, oh man, what is better than a King's Hawaiian roll? Hello.
But
you just have to watch.
If I'm almost at the point, if it has a label, don't buy it. It's like here's a head of cabbage. I don't need a label. It doesn't even have one, because it's a cabbage. So this is the onion. That's a tomato.
Right.
Anything that's packaged. I'm just saying.
But
anything that's processed. You're giving them.
Yeah.
You're giving the food company they're making it for you. Anytime it's processed, it's going to sit on a shelf. It's going to have emulsifiers. It's going to have additives.
Yeah.
It's going to have chemicals. So you have to look more and more now. There are foods being put out that are really a lot more responsible.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
I want to tell everybody that Ivan's recipes on blendradioandtv.com. So those listening live, I know we're going to go off air in a second here. So our timing. But I want to dig deeper because everyone, you'll hear this on the re-airing of this as it goes in a few minutes. It'll all be fine. Ivan, in regards to this, the chicken, right? You're going to bake it, but you leave it out for an hour. You're going to bake it. So now we're doing it ourselves, and I think this is something important. Do you see now with your students and what's going on in the world that more people are actually cooking now and looking at what they're doing? But then you do need to still look at those ingredients. What Marisa was saying and you were saying, it's like, hey, I just want to make a sauce, but all the ingredients have all this crap in them, right?
Right.
So we need to be. But are you seeing more people cooking now than last year?
I'd like to say yes, and then sometimes yes, but for the most part, Uber, Grubhub, deliveries, frozen foods, pop it in the microwave is on the rise.
And all those boxes. Hey, but listen, Uber and Lyft, Uber and Lyft are going away out of LA. They kicked them out, which is sad. But there's a whole other thing that has to do with independent contractors versus employee law and all that. But do you see the box? Do you think the box things that come to people with the boxed food being on the rise too?
Yes.
I just pissed off Ivan.
Let me tell you something. When somebody goes, it's $100 off your first order. What are you doing? Buying a car? I mean, what are you buying a car? I mean, if it's $100, and this is like for 4 meals just for dinner.
Right, and you still have to cook it yourself. Like, that's the thing. I've looked into it too, because some of them look like they're very health focused, but like it's so expensive. You think like I'd rather just order it from the restaurant than like if I have to do,
I'm just gonna go out and eat a lawn.
Don't. There's pesticides in it.
I'll be one of those goats you can hire to graze your lawn so you don't have to mow it.
Well, Ivan, it's interesting. As we travel, we try to cook, and now we do, we pet sit, and so we do have opportunities to cook, and we're always in a different kitchen, which is always. I feel like we should call you every time we land somewhere and say, check out this kitchen, because the utensils are different. Everybody's cooking something different.
It is
and
so
every family,
interesting.
and it goes according to ethnicity. It goes according to what's in the region, which is very interesting to us. And so you kind of like, you get used to your own thing, and then it's like, well, maybe we should cross over into this way of cooking and learn this. What is this apparatus they have? Or what is this coffee maker that we really don't understand what the heck it's doing?
I've been cooking in kitchens that don't even have a spatula. And I'm like lost. I want my own spatula. No, I don't know what to do without a spatula. I'm like, okay, I'm a dumb person in the kitchen because I can't flip anything because I don't have a spatula. Then you're forced to try to flip the pan like you see on the Galloping Gourmet, and it always goes wrong. And let me tell you, it goes wrong. I want a spatula.
What we're having for dinner tonight, so we took super, super lean, 93% lean ground turkey, and I made wasabi, orange marmalade, and sugar-free orange marmalade, and a touch of low-fat cream cheese to make an Italian like potette, small meatball.
Yeah.
Then we made confit tomatoes. That's been in the oven for 4 hours.
Oh, my God.
And we have a side of salmon that I freeze and then bring out, and we cut sashimi. And then we do all accoutrements with the sashimi. So that's the high protein, low fat. We have cauliflower. We have roasted mushrooms. We have roasted asparagus. And it's like, Tracy will cook on a Sunday, and we have vegetables up to the ceiling, and we have them all week. They go in omelets. They go on the side. They get added to things. She puts them in salads. It's what's going in your body. Got to be careful.
Sounds delicious.
Chef Ivan, I wanted to touch on too with what you talk about. I mean, all of this. So, as we've traveled, we've also stayed on a farm, and we've had people who've actually made marmalade. That's really, really good.
So cool.
We've had that. Eva, our friend Eva Eldridge, made marmalade out of her lemons and sent it to us. And Nancy made crepes when we were in the desert during the pandemic. Made crepes and put lemon marmalade in there. It was so good.
So good.
And then we were just on a farm in Tennessee, East Tennessee, the farm at Spring Creek, where we had played Portofino wine interview with Erin. And we actually sat with them. We did a lot of recipe video. We did this family really homesteads. So whatever they harvest, they make. You go into their pantry, Ivan, you would freak the hell out. Like, it is preserves. They have, like, the basement is preserves and jams and preserved okra. It's the only way Nancy will eat okra. And they everything they grow or raise is going to go into the pot for food or for the farmer's market. And so we did a recipe video with pear honey, which is not honey, it's pears, and they mix it with pineapple and it tastes like honey. It's amazing.
So good.
Grass-fed beef, and we learned about grass-fed beef. We hung out with the cows, and it was this amazing experience of truly seeing a family of multiple generations, 3 generations, come together on this piece of land and use what they're working for.
Yeah.
And they're doing educational programs are coming as they develop to get kids on the farm. They're already doing a little bit of it, but it blew my mind how they've just always been living this way even beforehand. And
it's awesome.
They're using every single thing to make a jam, preserve, pickle, do this, do that, because winter comes there. So they're really living with the seasons. So I think, isn't that something about doing that? I mean, you come from New York too? I mean, Marisa, you're upstate New York. Where are you from?
Yeah.
I mean, we got close to you guys. I mean, we were thinking about you. We went to Delaware. We went to Maryland, Pennsylvania. We've been up north, and it's crazy. We're going to go back up in a few weeks. But, I mean, is that how you live too? Like, I know you're kind of more city, right, where you were?
Yeah, we shop the perimeter. With us, it's always fresh fruits, vegetables. That's how we live. We do the Mediterranean diet: grains, good olive oils, avocados, nuts, low-fat cheeses, olives. We roast our own peppers. We confit our own tomatoes. We make our own stocks. We love to cook. It's not a chore. We love to cook.
Yeah, that's wonderful. I think we unfortunately, in the haste of just life, I've always enjoyed cooking, but then it gets to a point where you're like, what am I going to make? And it becomes and I try to eat I personally try to eat like vegan and no sugar, and it's crazy like how you change your whole way of thinking, because I grew up on like Italian food. Like, my mom was an amazing cook, but everything I knew was that, and really, there are other cookings that are much more conducive to like gluten-free and vegan and definitely Italian food generally isn't it, but it's you kind of have to, like you said, you have to shop the perimeter and find really unique ways of kind of making good food that is different.
My wife's vegetarian since she's 5, and she does vegetarian cooking like you would drop dead if you ate this food. I mean, it's like, this isn't steamed vegetables. It's just like the true talent of a cook or a chef. Give them vegetables, see what they can do with it. That's the true test.
Yeah,
I agree.
Yeah, and I think there's more and more out there, but because you'll look at people are using different vegetables to make things that we normally would consider to be the normal food, it's amazing. It's amazing what some of this food tastes like. That So good.
You have to pick the right wine. You have to pick the right wine.
Well,
this is the secret.
Well, we were at a bed and
seasoning.
breakfast recently in Ephrata, Pennsylvania, in the Amish country with the whole thing. And this bed and breakfast lady, she comes out and she goes, "Oh, we're going to have glazed carrots as part of your breakfast." I was like, "What the hell?" And I tell you what, man, I love those carrots more than anything else. And they were just glazed, I think, with a simple teriyaki, like it had that sweetness. That's what we're talking about, yeast and that sweetness.
And
there
crunch.
are natural flavors that have sweetness if you just allow them to not be masked by all the other throw on top. Those carrots turn. I mean, I'm going to talk to her and say, like, dude, like we need to talk. Not dude, but we need to talk about these carrots. These carrots were amazing. To me, were the star of the dish, and I was excited to have vegetables at breakfast. It sounds interesting, but it worked.
Yeah, of course.
It was amazing.
Finally, after all these years, Lisa eats carrots.
Oh, you know I've loved carrots forever. I love carrots. I love carrot juice, anything to do with carrots. But that was, to me, like, I didn't think I would enjoy carrots with my pancakes, and I really did. And she did like a true Dutch pancake
Wasn't
thing.
it? It was
cool.
Interesting, I love this, because you see what people cook, especially bed and breakfast. They take what they do in their home, amplify it for their guests, and it's different everywhere we go. We've had a lot. I will say we've had a lot of French toast, but every single one was different.
And some allow you to have bellinis, like Hummingbird Inn give us bellinis at breakfast, which is really cool.
Yeah, I love that. That was the best
we've learned
ever.
a lot about cooking too. Like Ivan, I wish you were there. Like I think the East Coast, it's like an interesting difference on cooking.
It's so different.
They are like when we were in Delaware and Maryland and stuff. It feels like they are about the land. We did an interview about Bread and Beauty. It's a cookbook, and these two ladies came together and went out into the farming areas of Maryland and Delmarva, I think as they call the area. It's like this whole region of Maryland, Delaware, and somewhere else. But this in Pennsylvania is all part of it too. This farming, and they have small farms, and it's like when you go to a restaurant or you go to a B&B, this stuff is really farm to table. Like it's more farm to table. I mean, I've been to Northern California, is very farm to table. San Diego has a big farm to table, but this area seems to be, especially with seafood. And Chef Ivan, you could probably really tap into that. Did you feel like when you were on the East Coast that it was very fresh from the sea to the table? I mean, that's what we've kind of seen this last month or two.
Especially with seafood, growing up in New York, the fresh clams, the fresh oysters, the fresh mussels, the conch. We would make scungili. We would make mussels marinara. Everything was right from the market. Everything was coming off the boats. New York, Boston, all of that. Fabulous. Fabulous with seafood.
And we don't eat seafood. So, Marisa, does that sound familiar to you? Coming from
delicious.
that area?
Yeah, I mean, well, and I don't know if more people gardened. I was even just saying that to my husband today. Like, when I was growing up, like, there were seasonal fruits, right? You didn't have strawberries in the winter. Like, that's not what you would. It wasn't available, right? So you would eat with the seasons always. Whereas now, and there's no. I guess in a sense, I remember, when summer would come around and there'd be like plums, and they would taste so much better than I feel like they do today. But and maybe it's because of that. The whole
God, a good plum. Oh my God, a good plum.
We used to grow in New York, upstate, beefsteak tomatoes that I have never found that taste anywhere else in the country other than coming out of New York.
Yeah, my dad too. Yeah,
Steak. Oh.
Where were you from in upstate New York?
Well, I'm from Brooklyn, but we had a small house in Monroe.
Oh, okay.
Monroe, New York, and we would always grow vegetables in the summer. and then
Cool.
we would. It was magical, just magical.
So good.
Mm.
Yeah.
Oh my God, I
I
love
know.
that.
There's a
In
lot of gardening
going
that goes on.
gardening, and I know it's like get your hand in the dirt and understand it.
Yes,
And the grass
understand.
when in
Understand the
South
process.
Africa and Kenya, we grew our own vegetables, you know.
It's so
And if you
cool.
didn't, you'd go to the
Oh my
market, and it
God.
was like you're in like heaven. It's like the market. Like you,
Mm.
I mean, you got
It was
every
so much-
person coming out with sugar cane. They got all the
It
spices.
was
They
so
got
much
everything.
fun.
I mean,
I
the
love
market
the
is
market.
the
I love
market.
the market.
It's
So much fun.
the Mikado, man. But like
It
also,
was so
but
much fun.
and I feel like we need to go back to that. And I think that's what's always cool about you coming on the show, Chef Ivan. You always bring us back to that. But I'm gonna, since I forgot everyone else's Champagne Sundays toast, I want to make sure we get your Champagne Sunday toast because we're over time. We're doing. I mean, it is one of those shows, but
Yes. Well,
they're always the
my-
best shows, right? So
yes,
what's your toast?
my toast is to a mask. I toast to a mask.
Mm.
This little device that you put on, wrap it
Yeah.
around your ears, you walk
Yeah.
around, make sure your nose is covered. A mask. That's what I toast to.
That's a good toast.
Oh, do you have
I
a
love it.
special mask? Do you have different ones, or are you wearing the temporary ones, or the little box out of the blue thingies?
I have a variety. I have those. I have the Tommy Kappa. I have
wow.
some elastic
I knew it.
mask.
Cool.
Yes. I have a whole variety. Yes, depending what mood I'm in.
I want one that says
Andrea,
feed
who is-
me.
Andrea, who we were hoping was going to be on the show today, well, Suzanne came in to fill in for her. She got Nancy and I a mask each. Nancy has
so
the dog,
cool.
and Nancy's the
love
dog
it.
face, and I'm the cat face. So we're like the dog and cat sitters, you know.
And so the dogs like want to lick my face, and I'm okay with that. And the cats look at Lisa and they're like, "I'm not licking your face."
No, but I will bite you. I will bite your ankle.
No,
So bite your hand.
it's so interesting. But when you go in the supermarket, people laugh at you and point at you, and we're like, "Okay, thank you."
Yeah, but kids in a bed and breakfast that we were in named us, and so they named Nancy's Clancy, which is interesting. They didn't know her name was Nancy, but they named it Clancy after their dog, and they named mine Whiskers, which I thought was cute. So there's some kind of thing of unity of conversation pieces. But Marisa, do you have a special mask?
I don't. I don't. I have our Portofino masks that, of course we carry. And other than that, when I'm not wearing those, I just wear the traditional, like, non-woven one. We were actually early on when this occurred and everything was so hard to get. Our factory in China, they since they had already been through it, they were so sweet, and they're like, you need, I'm going to send you just a bunch. So they actually sent me like a couple boxes of masks that I shared with like our neighbors, and I was sending them out to our customers. So I've been using those for the most part. Yeah.
That's nice.
So,
you have to think though, like you're working with China, and that's something that maybe the rest of the world don't even understand right now, that communication is happening between people in China. Because we look at China and this, like the wall. It's almost like the wall, right? Like I'm not being political when I say the wall. I'm just saying it's almost like a wall right now with how people think about stuff. But you're having a conversation, and I think that's important what you just said, that they're sending you something to help you move forward, like, and be healthy and happy.
Absolutely. I mean, and there were so many suppliers. I mean, I've been in this business, since 2001. We've been importing, and we've had like just, I don't know, probably hundreds of suppliers over the years of different things. And so many of them reached out to us just like, I'm so sorry, and not like they were taking blame. They're just sorry for our situation, and they were saying, like, can we get you this, or and so many companies actually selling masks reaching out to us, which I thought was so interesting, because here there was this huge shortage, and I thought, like, well, if I'm just this little importer who can tap into getting masks, like, I don't understand why this isn't solvable in moments, but anyway, they really were very, like, empathetic and caring and trying to help out in any way they could. So
Wow, that's something that never hits the news ever.
Right, it's true. And I mean, they didn't. I was like, let me pay you for them because we can't even find them here. And she's like, no. I'm going to send them like express. And I mean, without didn't want anything for it. It really just, like I said, I was really impressed by the outreach that came from people I had known in China. So.
Wow, that's really nice. That's really nice to hear. Chef Ivan?
It is.
Yes.
I want to know this. You're going to take a Portofino, and I know you got the backpack. Where are you going to go with it? And take your wine. What wine is in your Portofino backpack? And where are you going to go? I know I've done this to you before, but where would you go? And who would you take for a Portofino?
I can't drink the whites.
You're going to take red wine? You can take beer in them. You can take beer. I know you like beer.
Yeah, I like one beer, and that's about it. What? Oh, yes, the Predator. We had it last night. The Predator's Zinfandel. Oh, this one, smoky, chocolatey, like to die for. You pour a glass, the legs on this wine, and oh my God! And as it breathes, it changes every 10 minutes.
You were just making me hungry.
Dude, I want some of that.
This wine just takes you.
Wow.
Predator.
It's called Predator.
I wrote it down. That sounds so good.
God. Oh my God. Okay. So where would you go?
California. Where would I go?
Yeah. And who are you taking?
The beach. Tracy, Pickle, the beach.
Yeah.
I would sit there. I'd set up a little table. I'd have a little crusty bread. I'd have a variety of olives, cheese, and peppers.
Yum.
The wine. I put my feet up. I take no mask. I breathe. I relax.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. And I just enjoy it.
So, I think like there's driftwood. I would go to the beach and would collect driftwood and make a boundary like, do not come into my space. This is my space. I'm going to sit here with my wine.
Build a little shack.
Anti-social, Nancy.
And my driftwood would be my boundary. Do not come in. Do not cross my driftwood.
All right, guys. Well, thank you so much, Chef Ivan. It's always a pleasure. Marisa, I want to say thank you for joining us as a guest co-host today. Everyone, keep up with Chef Ivan Flowers. His recipes are all up on blendradioandtv.com. His oven roasted chicken, barbecue chicken is there, and it will be in the next issue of Big Blend Radio and TV magazine. And go to porto-vino.com. I'm telling you, it will change your life of how you enjoy wine. Because wine is not supposed to be stuffy. It's supposed to be enjoyed outdoors in some really cool place, or if you want to sneak it into where you go watch the movies and a Walmart, wherever. Go do it. Go do it. Have a good time.
We've done
it doesn't have to be wine. It could be coffee. It does hold coffee, by the way. It holds coffee. And listen, when you do big, long road trips like we do, we need coffee. So otherwise I'll be mean to truck drivers.
We need wine more.
Yeah, I know.
You just get an extra pouch, right? You have your morning coffee and then your wine pouch in the evening. That's
exactly.
Perfect.
And congratulations on all your new designs, Marisa. All of them really are amazing. I love that you went and said, hey, here's a mask, here's a scarf. And you know, because a lot of companies will shy away, but you said, hey, we're going to take a stand and do this. We need to all be safe together. And you took your product and said, we're going to include masks and do a scarf and a package with that, and even hand sanitizer that you can pump out of your bag. Thank you for doing that. So everybody, thank you so much. Everyone stay safe.
So appreciate you, ladies.
We appreciate you, too. Thank you, Chef Ivan, and a big hug to
You're welcome.
Tracy and Pickle, too. You know, Tracy rocks. You got to give her a shout out too, man. And everyone, thank you for listening. Take care, everybody, and enjoy
bye, guys.
The rest of the evening.
Bye-bye.
Bye.